welcome to Expressions. I'm Julie Robbins. We're at the Tulsa Zoo where we're going to be seeing many beautiful birds such as Mona here at the Masters of the Sky touring exhibit. So stay tuned as we see this Expressions take flight. Introduce Mona to you, and here with her is Jennifer Baines. Jennifer, thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you.
Now, Mona is what type of owl?
She's a Eurasian eagle owl.
Okay.
It's the largest owl species you'd find in the world.
Oh my goodness, and she's so beautiful. Mona, turn around here. Oh, she heard me. Now tell us about the Masters of the Sky exhibit here at the Tulsa Zoo.
Masters of the Sky is about a 25-minute free flight presentation where we try to introduce the public to birds of prey that they wouldn't see normally. We think it's very important to educate people with a live animal presentation because it's something you bring home and you remember.
Right, and the Birds of Prey tours around the United States?
Yep, we have about 10 performances this year from the World Bird Sanctuary in different states.
So if someone were coming to the Tulsa Zoo to see this exhibit, what should they expect?
Let's see. They should expect to see a lot of different birds. Some of them will be flying very close to their heads. Others will be doing some interactive displays.
Oh, how much
and
fun
is that? Surprises, yeah.
Now tell me about yourself. How did you get involved in this?
I got a degree in biology, and I didn't know where to go from there, and so I did an internship at the World Bird Sanctuary in St. Louis.
What a great way to start.
It's been about 5 years since I did the internship, and I've been with the company the whole time.
So you just fell in love with it.
Oh, definitely.
That's great.
You never have a work day that's the same.
Oh, I bet.
And this is Mona Lisa, our eagle owl. The owl's eyes are so large, in fact, that there's no room in the sockets for the muscles to turn the eyes. So in order to compensate for having fixed vision, the owl has the ability to rotate its head 270 degrees, which is about 3/4 of the way around. Thank you very much, Mona Lisa. Thank you, Melissa.
So tell me, what other sorts of birds are we going to be seeing?
We have owls, hawks, eagles, vultures, some crows, I'm trying to think, falcon.
And they're all beautiful. And you're holding on to them, I see, with a glove here. Is that because of the claws?
Yeah, these birds are made for killing animals. And so their talons is what we call their claws. They're quite sharp, and they've got a lot of power in their talons. So this glove protects my hands. It also serves more as a symbol for these guys. They know the glove is a point of safety.
Oh,
they
okay.
get rewarded on the glove, and they know that when they're on the glove, we're not going to, trim their beak or anything like that, so they feel nice and safe.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm anxious to see some of the other birds.
Fantastic. Let's go ahead and see them.
Okay.
For thousands of years, owls have been revered in myth and legend as creatures of evil, darkness, and death. Yet to some tribes and cultures, owls are symbols of knowledge and intelligence. This is Mirage, our barn owl. Most owls have fringes on the front edge of their outermost wing feathers that resemble the teeth of a comb. These fringes quiet the passing breeze and give the barn owl totally silent flight. Silent flight, coupled with excellent hearing, makes this bird a splendid hunter. This owl's ears are so sensitive that she can hear the patter of mouse feet from up to 90 feet away, which is approximately the distance from where I am now to the pavilion over to our left. Now, an owl Mirage's size could easily eat about 1,500 mice in a single year. This is very important to human survival because mice eat all the same grains that we humans need to survive. Throughout history, the barn owl has earned itself quite a few interesting nicknames. These birds are known as the monkey-faced owl, ghost owl, and sweetheart owl, all because of that peculiar heart-shaped face. Well, what did you think of that beautiful silent flying?
Why is she called Mirage? Is there a reason why?
Not that I know of.
Okay, just a pretty name for a pretty owl. Now tell
Mirage,
me about the markings. It's so different than that Mona, I expect that looks like an owl to me, but this just doesn't.
Mirage has a facial disc that sort of blends in with the knots on a tree, and she's meant to blend into trees as well. With most birds of prey, you can't tell the difference between males and females because they're colored identically. Right. However, with barn owls, there's a slight variation in color. The females are that darker cinnamon color, and the males are a lot whiter.
And she almost looks like she has pepper all over her.
Yeah.
Wow, she's gorgeous. They're both gorgeous.
Would you like to take a guess at how much these beautiful girls weigh?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Less than 10 pounds? About 10 pounds here?
Actually, that little one only weighs a pound, and Mona here weighs about 5.5 pounds.
She only weighs a pound?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Most of what you're looking at is feathers. The barn owl is actually one of the most threatened owls in the Midwest, and that's mostly because of loss of habitat. Believe it or not, this little girl only lives about a year in the wild.
Oh.
They're preyed upon by other animals, such as if Mona lived here in the United States, she would eat her.
Oh, is that why she's so nervous sitting here?
And she's just very alert. Also, they're susceptible to pesticides, and these birds naturally nest in tree cavities and in old wooden barns. We've gone to barns that are a lot more airtight now, and also people cut down those old dead dying trees. You can actually get nest box plans for a barn owl nest box, and if you have the right habitat, you might help barn owls raise some young of their own.
So are these primarily in the United States then?
Barn owls, different subspecies of barn owls are found worldwide on every continent except for Antarctica, but the common barn owl, like Mirage here, is found just in the United States.
Well, they so are beautiful.
Wedge-tailed eagles have close relatives all around the globe, including the golden eagle, which can be seen in western Texas. But wedge-tailed eagles are found only in Australia and Tasmania and are still shot on sight to this day because of the misconception that they feed on sheep. The main diet of these beautiful eagles is rabbits and hares, but they will also eat carrion, and up to 50 eagles have been observed dining at a carcass. Sheep herding is big business, so of course if someone sees an eagle feeding on a sheep, they may assume the eagle killed the sheep. Although 30,000 eagles will be killed this year, their numbers are still large because of the sheer size of the Australian wilderness. Duncan, our wedge-tailed eagle, is only the second of his kind ever hatched in the entire Western Hemisphere. He and his siblings, Darwin and Sydney, are used as spokes eagles for all eagles around the globe. We think that he's doing a fabulous job and deserves a hand.
All right, ladies, who do we have here? I don't know if I want to get too close to these guys.
Well, these guys are both scavengers, so as long as you keep moving and breathing, you'll be okay.
Okay.
Christine's holding Armadillo. He's our black vulture. Black vultures are found in North America, mostly in the southern part of the United States and down into Central America.
And why do they do this? Why is he spreading his wings?
He's not trying to look aggressive or anything.
Yeah.
These birds have an oil on their feathers, which when the sunlight hits it, gets converted to vitamin D. So when he'll finally preen his feathers, he'll get the vitamin D in his mouth. So he's just sunning.
You sunbathing?
And this fellow here is Desi. He's our African hooded vulture. And he's in the show, he flies in the show.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Let's bring out some vultures! Now, believe it or not, although Desi is flying like a pro here, this is actually only his first season flying for us in educational programs. And despite the fact he is a rookie, we think this handsome vulture is doing quite a fine job. So how about a big hand for Desi? Thank you, Melissa.
And we shouldn't be too afraid of these. These aren't the ones I see on the scary movies, you know, that are surrounding the dead bodies, right?
Well, both of these guys do eat carrion and carcasses. In fact, so many black vultures have been known to gather at a carcass that they'll scare off condors.
Oh, my goodness. Well, just the looks of them would scare me off. No offense.
Their looks are very, very useful. The reason they don't have very many feathers on their heads is when they feed, they do actually stick their heads inside the carcass to get to the softer, more nutritious organs.
Ah.
And if they didn't have feathers up there, all the food would stick to them, and they clean themselves with their beaks. So it would be pretty hard to reach the top of his head.
Now tell me about their stomachs, because they do eat. You know what they eat? They can handle that?
Exactly. Their stomach juices are so strong that both these guys can eat animals that have died of any disease known to man, and they're not affected by it.
My goodness.
That's very important for us because it minimizes the amount of dead animals lying around.
Right, right.
But you wouldn't want to reach up and try to grab a vulture.
Oh.
When they get nervous, their biggest defense, because their beaks aren't very strong, not very aggressive, and their feet can defend themselves a little bit, but their big defense is to throw up.
Oh, nice.
And you think that carcass smelled bad the first time.
Oh, I bet. Second time around's not good, is it?
We do a volunteer section with armadillo. Vultures have been observed in the wild eating rotten eggs. So we have a young volunteer bring up an egg, and armadillo will eat out of it.
Do you have any idea what you just volunteered for, Maggie?
No.
No? Well, what do you think you have when you have lots of birds to take care of?
A lot of bird feed.
A lot of bird feed, that's one thing. And after the feed, a lot of birds to clean up after. You volunteered to help us clean up after the birds. You're not very excited about that, are you?
A little spooked.
A little spooked. Well, actually, I was just kidding with you. You did volunteer to help us feed the vulture, though. Have you ever fed a vulture before? No? Well, this is going to be your first time, so this will be a lot of fun for both of us. Now, one of the things that vultures do eat, in addition to dead animals, is rotten eggs. So I've got a rotten egg right here, and you and I are going to feed Armadillo his favorite treat. Now, this is very simple. I'm just going to have you hold this in both hands, and on the count of 3, you're going to move this to right about here. You see where I'm pointing? And I'm going to move out of the way. So you ready? You're going to hold on to it with both hands? On 3. 1, 2, 3. He got it. Oh, you did a great job, Maggie. Now, you know how to get that. Now, go ahead. She deserves a big round of applause. Yeah, take a bow. Now, you know how to get that rotten egg smell out of your hands?
How?
Just wipe them on your pants. Your parents won't mind. Well, how about a big hand for Maggie, my wonderful volunteer?
Both of these birds look very similar, but they've actually come from completely different lines. Armadillo here has evolved from storks and cranes, and his feet aren't very strong. They're not made for gripping at all, just like a stork or crane's feet, more for walking. Desi here has evolved from birds of prey, so he still has some strength in his feet, the gripping power that birds of prey have.
Wow. Well, you almost feel sorry for them. They're so ugly. I hate to say that, but guys.
I'm sure they don't notice.
Yeah. Jennifer, this bird is definitely different in size, and I must say it's prettier than...
Well, pretty is the right word. This is Melody. She's our little female American kestrel.
She's a doll.
Some of you might know her by the nickname Sparrowhawk, but that name's actually misleading, for Melody is a true falcon. She sports all those falcon characteristics. She's got the 3 main raptor characteristics, which are excellent eyesight, a hooked upper beak, and strong claws called talons. But falcons have additional characteristics, such as long, narrow pointed wings, a very long tail, and large feet relative to their body size.
And how old is she?
Melody's about 5 years old.
Oh. You look just like a little baby.
She's actually quite a ferocious predator. She'll eat insects, small mammals, but they've also been known to catch and kill sparrow-sized birds.
Wow. So looks are deceiving here.
Definitely. If you take a good look at Melody's face, her beak has an extra, I'll let you see this side here, an extra notch. And that notch is called a tomial tooth, and that's used to break the bird's neck.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's pretty tough.
Yeah.
The kestrel exhibits a flight behavior called kiting, in which the bird will fly into the wind as quickly as the wind blows it backwards, in order to hang motionless in the air as it searches for prey below. Now, the kestrel will nest in the cavities of dead and dying trees, but they also adapt readily to man-made nest boxes, just like our model on display to your far right. If you're interested in building a kestrel nest box, please stop by and see me after the show. Now, with many birds of prey, you cannot tell the difference between males and females because they are colored identically. However, with the kestrel, you can. Males have blue wings and females have brown wings. If you'd like to take a guess and tell me, is this a boy or a girl? Girl, exactly right. We know that Melody's a female because she sports these beautiful brown wings. Well, let's hear it for our smallest flyer.
What else do we have here?
If you direct your attention to the right, you'll meet Virgil. Virgil's our tawny owl.
Sleepy?
He's just mellowing out in the sun. Tawny owls are found in Africa.
Virgil, look this way. There you go.
And owls have the 3 main raptor characteristics, but they also have some other features that help them hunt. Like the owls you saw earlier, Virgil has silent flight. He has excellent night vision. The larger owl that we saw earlier can see with the light of 1 candle placed 4 football fields away on a totally dark night. But they also have excellent hearing. If Virgil faces the camera again, hopefully, you can
I don't think he likes the sunshine.
You can see that he's got a sort of facial disc like the barn owl did, and that disc actually captures sound and funnels it towards his ears, which are located on the side of his head. And some owls have such sensitive hearing that they can hear the patter of mouse feet from about a quarter mile away.
You are kidding.
Not at all. And although people believe that owls are very wise and their large eyes make them look intelligent, they're actually not that smart. Most owls have eyes that take up 2/3 of their body, or 2/3 of the space in their head.
We're smart enough to quit looking at the camera. Every time the camera comes around, he turns. Just camera shy. They're beautiful, beautiful animals.
I'll see if I can show you something really neat about Melody. If we can get her to focus on something. You can imagine when you're in the back of a bus, it's very difficult to read a newspaper because you're bouncing up and down when you go over all the bumps. Well, birds run into the same problem if they're on a branch. The branch is moving in the breeze and they need to focus across the field on that little rat or mouse. So they have the ability to keep their head still while their body moves around.
Look at that.
We'll see if I can get her to do it a little better. There we go.
The new dance, the melody, huh?
Definitely. If you take a good look at her face, you'll see that she has dark patches under her eyes. Reminds you a little bit of baseball players and football players. Well, the falcons thought of it first. These guys hunt other birds, and so they need to have the sun redirected from their eyes so they can spot the birds in the sky.
Wow. You're gorgeous.
This is Cyrano, our red and green macaw. In 1 square mile of virgin rainforest, there may be only 1 or 2 tree cavities that are deep, clean, and dry enough for a pair of macaws to nest in. This may be one of the reasons that the larger parrots produce so few babies in their lifetime. In fact, scientists estimate that only 10 macaws may be produced out of 100 mated pairs in a given year. If you are thinking of having a parrot as a pet, please make sure it was hatched and raised in captivity and hand-fed by a reputable parrot breeder. Also remember that macaws like Cyrano can live to be 75 years old and take lots of time and energy to keep happy and healthy.
All right, what do we have here, Jennifer?
This little fellow is Oreo, our African pied crow.
His name fits him, yes.
And this little girl on my hand is Cherry Pie, our African pied crow.
Okay, where'd you get Oreo and then Cherry Pie?
They were hatched at a breeding facility.
I'm gonna say, you know, that's Oreo, but Cherry Pie, I don't understand that.
Just for Cherry Pie pied crow.
Ah, gorgeous. Now, so what's so unique about them other than their colors and everything?
Like the North American crow, they're very intelligent. Cherry does a recycling routine in the program to help get audience participation, also to get across the point that recycling is one of the simplest things we can do to help save wildlife habitat.
Right.
And I'll get my brave volunteer to go ahead and stand up. Perfect. And I'm going to send Cherry your way. Cherry, go get that can. And let's show them what we do with the can here at the zoo. Here in Tulsa, we also recycle crows. Oh, but what are you doing sitting down? You know you did a good job, so we'd like to thank you by giving you a round-trip ticket for our zoo train. Now to get this, you need to do something a little different. So I need you to put your left arm out to the side just like this. Great. And your right arm out to the other side just like that. Great. Can you move them up and down a little for me? There you go. Fly over and get it. Aw, she knew that one. Well, now I need you to put your left arm out strong in front of you. Cherry will bring you the ticket. Grab that ticket because paper is also recyclable. Cherry? You little sneaky bird. Now here you go. There you go. Very nicely done. How about a round of applause for my brave volunteer? Most crow species show great intelligence, and some have even been taught to mimic human speech, just like some parrots. While Cherry's not speaking fluent English yet, some crows have mastered over 100 words and up to 5 complete sentences.
Well, I know Cherry's not speaking English yet, but I've got a fellow who's working on it. This is Oreo. In order to get him to be a little less shy, I need a little help from the audience. So on the count of 3, if I can just have everyone say hello, Oreo. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Oreo. Now what do you say back, bud? That's crow, now English.
Hello.
All right, one more time, really loud into the mic.
Hello.
All right, good job. How about a big hand for our speaking crow?
It's not much of a conversationalist, but then again, neither's Fred.
Oh.
Hello, Oreo. Hello.
Hello.
Good boy. All our birds work by a method called positive reinforcement. When they do a proper behavior, such as Oreo saying hello, we give them a treat, something they really like.
Right, just like with any animal. Right?
Exactly.
We reward them.
Positive reinforcement works much better than any other type of training technique. With some birds, like parrots and crows, affection works as well as treat rewards. With birds of prey, it's mostly food that they really like.
Jennifer, tell me about their markings. They're very unusual. Now, our crows are just black. So, I mean, this Africa, did they come in black and white? It's not like the dress. They come in black and white?
They're dressed up for a formal affair. There's also white-naped ravens.
Hello.
Good boy. There are many different colors of crows. The American blue jay is even related to the corvids, the crows.
Okay.
So there's some very ornate colors in the bird world, especially in the crow family.
Jennifer, what do we have here?
This is Taz. She's our kookaburra. And kookaburras are very special. One of the ways they dispatch their prey, unlike the raptors, which have very strong feet for grasping and tearing, kookaburras rely on their beak to smash their prey.
Oh.
They stun it and beat it and then swallow it. So we're going to see what Taz is going to do. She might demonstrate this for us.
Well, that's very violent, Taz.
She's got a nice little rubber lizard.
You know, I think she knows it's rubber. It's like, what do you think I'm going to do here?
What they'll do is they'll get it to one end or the other, and then generally they like to hold onto the tail and knock the head against a hard object. Very tasty.
Well, that beak is extremely long.
Definitely for catching little animals.
Now, where would you normally see this type of bird?
This is an Australian bird. They also make that call that you've heard very loud.
Mm-hmm. She's like, you know, I really don't want to do anything right now.
I'm just going to hang out and watch the airplanes.
You hear the airplane? Yes, we're by the airport. Well, Taz, you had your 5 minutes to start him. You blew it, buddy. Now, Jennifer, this is another type of hawk here?
Yeah, we've got 2 hawks. They're the same species, but different color phases. This is Willard. He's a regular color-phased red-tailed hawk. This is a type of hawk you'd see right around here. And if you're lucky, you might be able to see a hawk like Kansas. Kansas is also a red-tailed hawk, but he's a melanistic color phase, which is darker in color. Now, the main point of the whole education program here for the Tulsa Zoo and the World Bird Sanctuary is for people to become aware of their environment and aware of the problems our environment faces. If you take a look right outside your backyard window, you might see one of these birds, and just by recycling simple things like paper, plastic, glass, and aluminum, you can help save raptors and the environment.
So you would say those are the main things that they need to do is recycling and
Recycle, watch your pesticide
Do they try to
use.
eat that? Is that what it is, like the plastic and everything?
Landfills for our garbage destroy thousands of acres of wildlife habitat every year, and that's homes for all these birds as well as many other animals. Plus, watch your pesticide use. Most birds of prey help control those crop-damaging rodent populations, and if we put out pesticides, these guys get the toxins in their bodies, and that kills off the main predators of rodents.
Oh, and they are so beautiful. Hi, sweetheart. He just had, and this is Kansas, right?
Yep, this is Kansas.
You said we could probably see this type of hawk in the backyard, but what about this
Kansas, your chances of seeing a bird like Kansas are fewer. The darker color phases, melanistic red-tailed hawks, are less common, but if you're lucky, you might see them. So he's a pretty special fellow. One thing to be very cautious of when you're out watching birds is watch them from a distance, just like you would nature and you're anywhere. is these birds get very unsettled by people, and it's actually against the law to harass, shoot, harm, chase any bird of prey. You can't even possess a feather or a piece of their nest. People actually used to shoot birds of prey just to get their feathers, and that's why the laws are so strict.
Well, I would say any type of bird, you know, anything, because I guess some people wouldn't know what birds of prey are, so just, you know, stay away from them, period, huh?
And that's a very safe idea, because even the small songbirds like a cardinal or a robin are protected under the Migratory Bird Act. So if you find something beautiful in nature, the best thing to do is leave it where it is so somebody else can look at it and you can carry on your way.
Well, before we close the show, we're going to introduce you to Dabbles. Dabbles isn't the most beautiful thing. Hi, sweetheart. Oh my goodness, you're hungry. Oh yeah. And if you've seen the movie Babe, I guess this is a similar duck that was on Babe.
This is an Indian runner duck. And they're actually bred, they're domestic species, bred to walk on their hind feet like that. And she's eating soaked dog food, which she really, really likes.
Hi,
It's just
Dabbles.
her favorite treat.
Oh, I don't have anything else. Sorry. Sorry. That's it. That's it, sweetheart. Oh, okay. Okay, well, see ya. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for being on the program today, introducing us to all these beautiful and birds with personality here. Hungry birds.
Definitely. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Expressions. We hope you've enjoyed this show. And for Dabbles and I, we'll see you next week.